Ladies and gentlemen, you're now tuned into Chat City with P. Ross. Conversations and interviews are in the queue. Listen or join in. Here she is, P. Ross.
Greetings, 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 everyone. Thank you for tuning in again to another show, Chat City with P. Ross. I am your host, P. Ross, and in the building with me today, I do have Mr. Chris Graham. He is the leader and founder of Triangle City Worship. Let's welcome Mr. Graham back in the house with us today.
Thank you for the welcome. Thank you for the welcome. I appreciate being here today.
Yes, we were supposed to have a little Tri-City in here, but unfortunately, they were not able to make it.
It's all good.
It's all good. I just want to say hello, shout, Triangle City Worship. I hope some of you are watching today, and we'll get you in here next time, okay?
Yeah, we'll definitely do that.
All right. Chris has been here with me on the show before. He is a singer-songwriter. He's an award-winning artist here in the Triangle area. He is from the Moore County area. Which city would you say you're from, Chris?
You can say Aberdeen, North Carolina, but nobody really knows what it is, so I just say Pinehurst.
Yeah, if you know anything about Moore County, North Carolina, Pinehurst, Southern Pines, Aberdeen is all one big melting pot a little bit.
Yeah, it's all known for golf. So
all
if you
known
say
for
golfing,
golf. Mm-hmm.
they know what you're talking about.
Yes. This is becoming a military town a little bit too. It's also associated with what they call old money.
Right.
Old money.
Trying to get to that one day, you know.
Equestrian. It has a equestrian background as well, and it's a nice area, very nice area, known for its pine trees and everything else. What do you like most about home, Chris?
I mean, I just like that my family's there, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I just like that my family's there. You know, it's definitely when you go down there, you know, that's where I grew up. That's where, you know, high school, all that good stuff. So all those memories that I have growing up, it's just every time I go down there, it just starts to pop up. So that's the cool thing that I like about home, and it's so pretty down there. You know, they definitely updated since the last time I've been down there. I was like, oh, there's a lot more stuff that they have down there now since I had left. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I would say the most thing I like about being home is just home.
So you are a resident now of the Wake County area,
Yes,
Raleigh,
I
North
am.
Carolina.
Yes, I am.
What made you come this way?
Honestly, it was more so of my job. I was working at a job, and I got moved from one store to another store. So, it just, you know, made more sense to move there. And plus my wife wanted to move, to the area. So, you know, it just worked out. So we just moved up here. I think we moved in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2021 is when we moved up here.
Okay.
So,
I mean, I wasn't like, yeah, you did. I don't know.
well, you were correct.
I was just like, yes. Okay. All right. Well, Chris is the founder of Triangle City Worship, a collection of North Carolina singers, musicians, audio and video tech people. But before we get into Triangle City Worship, let's talk about some of the current events that have happened today and most recently. Since we're talking about music is our subject today. The late Harry Belafonte. Harry Belafonte died at the age of 96.
oh no.
He was a legendary singer, actor, activist, and he is the one that popularized calypso music back in the 1950s. You know anything about Harry Belafonte, Chris?
I'm not even gonna sit here and flex. I really don't.
Well,
I heard the name before. I heard the name before.
How about this? Deo, Deo.
Oh, I know that.
Daylight come and me wanna go home. Harry Belafonte.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, but
Do a little bit more than I thought. Yeah.
very nice looking man. He has he has children, and one Sherry Belafonte she had a little bit of her hand into acting or singing. I can't remember which one. But, yeah, I mean, he was known for boosting in the civil rights movement with Dr. Martin Luther King and some of the other celebrities of that time. And, wow, I mean, an amazing man. So
Yeah.
our hearts and minds are to the family
Definitely.
of the late, great Harry Belafonte. We also just heard that Jerry Springer passed away, I believe at age 79 after battling cancer for a long time. And if you know anything about Jerry Springer, he was known as the king of like dirt TV or whatever. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, he had a popular talk show, I guess we would call it.
Jerry.
There you go, Jerry. I mean, people labeled Jerry as the devil, at one point in time because he chose to have a TV show that had so much friction and just negativity about it. I mean, did you watch Jerry Springer back in the day?
I was too young to say that I was.
Okay, all right.
Probably shouldn't have watched. I mean, I never was like one to watch like a lot of episodes, but when you're home from school and you turn on channel 22 and you got the UPN network, at 12 noon, all the other shows go off, and then here comes the Jerry Springer show, and sometimes this stuff is a little like, oh, what's going on here? But then I can't say that I was too young to watch some of that stuff. So
well, I'm not gonna lie, I did watch Jerry Springer back in the day. I enjoyed his shows when I first began watching, but after a while it started taking a toll on me. Like, really, are we gonna talk about this again, or are we gonna let them fight on the set and that kind of thing? I mean,
became the thing.
yeah. Now here's another one, Chris, and I'm not gonna talk about death anymore, but I just learned on the way here to the station that Carolyn Dunham passed away. Do you know who Carolyn Dunham is or was?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay, that's fine. Do you know who Emmett Till was?
I do.
Okay, so Emmett Till, if you do not know, please Google this information. But Emmett Till was a young boy, teenager. At age 14, he was brutally murdered by several men who accused him of whistling or catcalling to a white woman. Emmett Till was African American, and he was murdered. He was snatched from his home, from his grandfather's home or uncle's home, away in the middle of the night, and he was brutally murdered. Man, this was a widely publicized case because of the nature in which he died. I mean, he was thrown in a river, and he had some type of heavy metal tied around his neck when he was thrown in the river. His mother wanted an open coffin funeral, and she wanted the world to see what happened to her baby. Yeah. Well, to speed the story up a little bit, the lady that accused him of whistling, Carolyn Dunham was her name. Oh, okay. And recently, like within last couple of years, documents were found in the courthouse in which they were tried. All those people that was involved with his death got away with bloody murder. Okay. And I remember seeing this photo of Emmett Till in his open coffin. A lot of people probably remember this. Emmett Till laying in a coffin, just mutilated. To hear his mother describe or give a description of that day when she saw her baby in that coffin is just heart-wrenching. Yeah. And they tried very hard to have these people convicted. They all got away with it. Later, documents was found, as late as I think last year or year before, where information was withheld. And Carolyn Dunham was one of the people still living, and it was thought that she should be tried due to this information that was found, that was held back, that could have incriminated her. I want to give a shout out to John Barnett. He is a civil rights activist in Charlotte, North Carolina. He and an attorney, I can't think of his name right now, they came to Raleigh, North Carolina because at this time around last year when they were when these documents were found, or whenever these documents was found within the last couple of years, it's either been a year or 2 years. Yeah. It was Carolyn Dunham's last known address was Raleigh, North Carolina. So she had been living in Raleigh, North Carolina, and they came to Raleigh to try to do something about getting her to the court. Now, mind you, she was in her 80s. And, you know, I was feeling kind of, I don't know. I was looking at it. Well, she's an older woman. Let's forgive her. But then I'm like, no. If there's something she's done to cause this young man to be murdered, then we need to go on and put her on the stand. What do you think about that, Chris?
Well, that's a tough question.
I know.
I mean, you know, one thing I can say, you know, is God is the ultimate judge, and you know, even if she didn't get the judgment that she probably should have got here on earth, I just know, you know, that God is going to have the final say. So that's all I'll say about that.
Good answer. Good answer. All right. We're going to do away with that. But yes, Carolyn Dunham died at age 88. So, and again, like I said, I wanted to applaud that group of people that were trying to bring justice to that situation. Moving right along. Chris, what have you been up to since we last spoke?
Oh, man, I've been up to a lot. I can't remember exactly. Did I win the award the last time we spoke? Or was that before?
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah, I think you won the award.
Okay.
Which award was it?
The Avidity Award.
Yeah, you won.
Last year in October.
Uh-huh.
I won the Avidity. Man, I ain't gonna lie, that felt great. You know, felt really great. I didn't even expect it, because at the award show, like, you know, they didn't even announce it in the award show, and then someone came towards me. This is a funny story. So someone came towards me with the with the award.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked at them and I was like, "Hey, you know what? You can give me that award and not say nothing about it, and nobody will know." And he was like, "Bro, this is actually for you." I was like, "Oh, great." Like, are you serious? He was like, "Yeah." And I looked at it, had my name on it, you know, Artist of the Year. Like, you know, I almost brought that today, to be honest with you.
You should have. Would have loved to seen it.
Artist of the Year. So, you know, shout out to the Avidity Award team and Derek Huggins for, you know, providing me with that awesome opportunity. And then I even got to perform on the stage at the show in front of like a lot of important people, and that went really well too. So, you know, that's what I've been up to. Just been building, you know, got some music coming out, and you know, Chris Graham has been working. You know, we've been doing some things. So I'm just ready to, you know, let the world hear what we've been listening to. We hit one of the songs that I sent you today. We hit 132,000 streams.
Wow.
On Spotify.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. 132,000 streams. Like, as an independent artist, you know, from North Carolina, I'm going to say that's unheard of. You know what I mean? So, you know, the fact that God is really just looking and, you know, looking out for me, and, you know, making sure that the music that I put out is being listened to and people are really being touched by this music, it means a lot. So, yeah, and then we got Triangle City Worship. So,
okay. Before we get into who Triangle City Worship is, tell our listeners more about who Chris Graham is.
So, I am a Christian artist. You know, I've done some Christian hip hop. I'm about to release some Christian, I guess you would say Christian R&B, but they don't really want to call it rhythm and blues, because ain't nothing sad about Jesus. But but you know, when you talk about the style, like, it's Christian R&B. So urban inspirational music is what I do. You know, I've been doing this professionally since 2019. And you know, got like six tracks out right now. Light It Up, Move, From the Hills, Good, 828, and Way Too Lit. You know, and all those records are doing really well. Over 10,000 over 20,000 streams actually. Each record has over 20,000 streams. So, you know, God has really been looking out for your boy.
Yes. Okay. All right. Now, as we mentioned, Chris is the founder of Triangle City Worship, a collection of North Carolina singers, musicians, audio, and video technical people. Tell us about Triangle City Worship. What's your purpose?
So, Triangle City Worship came about because, you know, I was going, you know, I got invited to a few writing camps. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Maverick City. You know, I've got and I think one of them is Song Labs. You know, and honestly, like walking away from those experiences, I left really inspired.
Okay.
And I was like, dang, like there's nothing like this in our area. And when I say our area, I mean like, for people in North Carolina, we have, and let me just stop and say this, like North Carolina has some of the best musical talent out here. Like let's give a hand for North Carolina artists, because
You ain't never lying.
these people out here, like even
I gave you two.
even when you think about like Elijah McCormick, he was just on America's
American Idol.
I was about to say America's Top Model. Lord Jesus. He was on American Idol. Like he's from North Carolina. So we have like a lot of creatives in North Carolina, and, going to those different camps and being in those different scenes, like, it's cool to go away and do that stuff, but it'll also be cool to like have some of that stuff here in our home. So, God just really laid it on my heart to, take some of the things that I've learned at those camps and in those spaces and bring it here to North Carolina. So that's what I've been doing. We did our first writing camp at the beginning of the year. We released a Christmas single this past Christmas. It's called This Christmas. So, maybe next Christmas when y'all ready to hear Christmas music again, y'all can listen to it. It's actually a really good song if you want to listen to it, outside of Christmas. But, I know it says this Christmas. Nobody want to listen to Christmas music other than Christmas. But, yeah, we got some stuff going on. We've been doing worship nights here in the Triangle area. We got one coming up on June the 4th, I believe.
Well, look, but let me ask you this, Chris. Let me interject for a minute. Let's start from the beginning. How were you once the idea set and formed in your head?
Yeah.
What did you do to go about bringing people together to form this group?
So the first thing I really did was, I believe, the biggest step was to move.
To move? What do you mean?
So
like just act? Or is that what you're saying?
No. Well, so I moved from where I was in Sanford.
Okay, gotcha.
To Raleigh. And then strategically, God placed me in different spaces to where I would meet people, gain connections, and stuff like that. Like I've met some of my closest friends, since I've moved here. So I think that was the biggest step, because if I had not moved, you know what I'm saying, like I wouldn't have met some of these people. So that was the first step.
Okay.
And then really just, explaining my heart to some of my friends that I've met, some of the people that I've met, they really encouraged me. So, after, when was it? I was like, okay, it's time to get started. It was like 2022. And I had made a post on social media. I was like, hey, we're going to do this live recording. I'm looking for people who want to sing. It's a Maverick City style shooting, a video shoot. And then people just came. Like, I think we had like 27 churches from the Triangle just be a part of that. It was really cool to experience. And then that started the whole movement. Like, then it became like, okay, what's next? This was really cool. What's next? So then we partnered with one of my friends, his church. He's launching a church in September. It's called Service Church. It's going to be in Apex. Little plug, if you're looking for a church, he's launching in Apex in September. So if y'all looking for something, definitely check him out. Service Church is on Instagram. But he called me. He was like, hey, I really believe in what you got. I really believe in your ministry, and I would love to, partner with you for a worship night. So we did something called a river night. And man, when I tell you, that was probably one of the most special experiences I've ever experienced before. And I'm going to tell you why it was special, because literally everything stopped working. The mics, the mics stopped working. The keyboard stopped working. Like, we had little stuff that we was trying to put together. Like we pieced some stuff together, whatever. But the mics and the speakers stopped working. But God did not stop working in that moment. Like everybody was worshiping him in that moment, and there was no distraction. The mics didn't distract us. So that was a really beautiful moment. And I really believe that's what started the whole movement of Triangle City worship. So
okay, so when all the people gathered into the building for that initial I'm gonna call it a meet and greet or whatever, you didn't put an age limit on anything? Was there anybody there that was too young, or what about the people that could not quote unquote sing? I mean, or did you have an audition at that time?
I mean,
how did that happen for
I
you?
mean, I don't really think so. I didn't really do an audition or anything like that because the main thing was, I already had who I already talked to who I needed to talk to, who needed to be on mics, so the biggest thing that I was trying to create was a choir sound, so back in the day, when we go to church, when you was in a choir, you didn't really have to sing, the best note. All you had to do was know how to hold a note and know how to sing your part. So that's pretty much what we did. So I didn't really go through an interview process or anything like that. And then there's no age limit. We got a young teenager. She's, I want to say, I think the youngest one is 17.
Okay.
And I think it's pretty cool because it's she's, growing up and seeing this experience, and she's being groomed, to kind of reach other people. And then we had somebody, I don't really know exactly what her age was because I don't believe in asking women what their ages are. But I believe she was a little bit on the older side. And she showed up, and we had a little bit of everybody. I just thought it was an amazing experience.
All right. Roughly guess the person's age. I'm just curious.
Roughly guess the person's age.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm curious because I'm over 50, and
you trying to be a part?
Well, I auditioned for a band one time, and this was last year before last, and majority, I think, maybe they were a little surprised that I walked in the door, and there was another lady auditioning, and I mean much younger than me, I'm sure, but I felt a little uneasy, or. I was like, oh, well, maybe I'm too old to do this or whatever, so that's why I was curious about the person.
Hey, you ain't never too old to worship God. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're right. Age limit.
You're right. All right. So if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Chat City with P. Ross. I'm your host, P. Ross. I have in the building with me today Mr. Chris Graham. He's an extraordinary independent artist here in North Carolina, in Raleigh, North Carolina. And scheduled to be here with him today was one of his group members of Triangle City Worship, a group he's founded. Unfortunately, they could not come today, but Chris is going to tell us more about the group. All right, Chris, so what was the purpose of adding, if you're forming a choir, just tell us what was the purpose in adding the video text into everything?
You talking about within the bio and stuff like that?
Well, when I look at your, yes, I guess.
Okay.
So
So
what was the added element?
basically, with that, and I, so my wife, she wrote some of the stuff, that's on our pages and stuff like that, and I just want to be extremely inclusive, So a lot of people, when I say creatives, there's more to being a creative than singing. You got a creative that works video equipment. We got creatives that work audio equipment, or who can mix well, or, who can do graphics well, or who can take pictures well, or who can set up, or who can usher, or whatever. I want the goal for Triangle City Worship is not just to have, a ton of singers. It's just to have a full package to where I'm not gonna say if, but once we do get to the place we need to be, and we're able to fund a lot of stuff that we got to fund, and do a lot of the things like video shoots, we don't really have to go outside of our house to do anything. Everything is in house.
Okay.
And the crazy thing is, God has already proven himself, and he's connected us with people who already do this stuff. We got several different people who is very creative with the camera, whether it be pictures or videos. We got people who are very creative with mixing and producing music and stuff like that. So God is really just sending us a lot of people, and a lot of creatives in the area who already know the stuff that God has given me the vision to put together. So that's why that's there.
Okay. So you went into it with the mindset of, we got to capture the moments as well as we sing them. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. That's good. Tell us for those who may not be sure, what worship is, Chris, and how essential it is for us as people.
So, I mean, there's many forms of worship. Worship is a form of reverence. Like, this is something that we do to really give praise and honor to, our Lord and Savior. And the importance of it is, when we get to heaven, that's all we're going to be doing is worshiping God. So why not practice now? And in today's world, like, worship is a huge part of our churches, and a lot of people attach worship to just singing, and playing instruments, but it's more to that. Like, whatever you do, if you're pleasing God, you're worshiping Him. So, that's my little take on worship. I think it's a beautiful thing. And even the Bible tells us that, they that worship Him must worship Him in spirit and in truth. So if you're just doing, if you're just being honest and open about, being honest and being truthful and being pure, God's going to accept that worship from you.
Okay. Now tell us how you came up with the name Triangle City Worship for your group.
Whew. So I was trying to figure out, what would be the best fit for this, like this area. Like, I came across a lot of names. I think one of the names was like Oak City or something like that. I really like the middle like name being city, because it represents, like, I feel like it represents like this area. It puts like a stamp on this area. And then, like one day, God just placed in my spirit, it was like Triangle City Worship. I was like, Triangle City Worship. This was like in 2020. So I went and got the logo. I went and got the logo done without even knowing that I was going to do it. I just went and got the logo done, and the dude, like, he sent the logo, and it was like perfect. Like, it was like literally the best thing I've ever seen. I was like, oh, cool. So this is what it's going to be.
I agree with you as far as the logo, because I was going to ask you about that logo. I was like, that to me is fitting. It fits your name, and what, who you are. And that's
it says a lot by just looking at, like, it's a triangle with the cross in the middle of it, and then it just has our name. Very simple, but it just means a lot. And even, like, I think the name Triangle City Worship, it can even go as far as to, like, a lot of people believe that God is three in one. You got the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So we can represent that. We know God is just the ultimate being, but he manifests himself in two other ways. So that can be another interpretation. If we're not just speaking of just the Triangle City, which is the triangle area, which is Raleigh, Cary, Durham, all that good stuff. So I just think it's very fitting, and it definitely speaks. It definitely can be something that can be more than just North Carolina, if that makes sense.
Yes. All right. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Chat City with P. Ross on Oak 93.5 WRLY here in Raleigh, North Carolina. I have in the building with me today as a very special guest, Mr. Chris Graham, who is an award-winning artist, and he is the leader and founder of Triangle City Worship, a musical group based out of Raleigh. Before we go any further, what I'd like to do is allow you to hear some of Chris's good music. He's written a song called Good. It was written in 2021. Tell us a little bit about Good, Chris.
Man, this song is really just an anthem about the goodness of God. It was, I'm not going to say it was right out of the pandemic, but it was like right after the pandemic. And, God just really, actually somebody from New Zealand sent me this beat. And, I just started singing, God is so good. And so, it's a really good anthem about how good God is and, what he's done and all that good stuff, especially, as coming out of the pandemic, everybody experienced what, the toll that the pandemic took out of this nation as a whole. So it's just a really cool reminder of, even though we've been through that, God is still good and all that. So, and then my bro, Jay Tora hopped on the record with me, did a phenomenal job. So yeah, this is one of my favorite songs.
All right. Good by Chris Graham.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. God is good. God is good. Yeah. God is good. Chris Gang, got it so good with a band that could've been dead, man, that's fact. Gave my life no take back. God on my side, I never let. Got it so good with a band that could've been dead, man, that's fact. Gave my life no take back. God on my side, I never let. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good, yeah. Out of my way, help me praise, yeah. I'm so thankful for you. You made so many ways, I gotta give you glory. I'm not ashamed, I bless your name, yeah. You've been so good, I can't contain it, no, 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 no. You supply all of my needs, and I'm grateful that you keep me in perfect peace. Never will I let a rock cry out for me. You loosed the chains, broke the bond, and ain't bound no more. You set me free. Anybody know God is a good guy? If you know that God's been a good guy, lift your hands since God's been a good guy. Give praise since God is a good guy. Got it so good with a band that could've been dead, man, that's fact. Gave my life no take back. God on my side, I never lie. Got it so good with a band that could've been dead, man, that's fact. Gave my life no take back. Side, I never lack.
With God on my side, I'll never lack. I wouldn't even be right where I'm at. He pulled me out the trenches, I ain't going back. Even 2020 couldn't even hold me back. Hitting licks, blessing coming back to back, yo. Stay shining like my name was Quavo Hunto. Bought a house, yeah, I'ma brag on it. Cause I couldn't have did it without God's name on it. I'm feeling real good, I'm shouting his name. I gotta give thanks, I'm giving him praise. Ain't nobody finna shut me down. Broke them chains and I'm no longer bound. Oh yes, my God is a good God. Can't nobody ever compromise me. If you want smoke, then you better come with it. Got God on my side, we'll stay winning.
Never will I let a rock cry out for me. You loosed the chains, broke the bond, and ain't bound no more. You set me free. Anybody know God is a good guy? If you know that God's been a good guy, lift your hands since God's been a good guy. Give praise since God is a good guy. Got it so good with a band that could've been dead, man, that's fact. Gave my life no take back. God on my side, I never left. Got it so good with a band that could've been dead, man, that's fact. Gave my life no take back. God on my side, I never left. Got it so good with a band that could've been dead, man, that's fact. Gave my life no take back. God on my side, I never left. Got it so good with a band that could've been dead, man, that's fact. Gave my life no take back. God on my side, I never left.
All right.
That was good. That's good.
I love it. I love it. Chris, when you guys had your first rehearsal, I believe that was probably different from when you initially made a announcement that you're forming a group. What was that first rehearsal like for you?
Very chaotic.
How so?
Very chaotic. Well, I'll just say, the first rehearsal that we had was for one of our river nights that we partnered with Surface Church. And let's just say I didn't text everybody to remind people that there was rehearsal. So like 4 people showed up.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, our first rehearsal was very chaotic. But, I will say, that every event that we've done, even if we haven't rehearsed, like literally God came in and filled that void of us not knowing, the parts. Like we just flowed. And I think that's what's so unique about Triangle City Worship is that, we have a lot of leaders and a lot of worship leaders on the team, and everybody just knows how to flow. I'm not saying, we don't do rehearsals, because we do. It was just that very first one, I forgot to tell people, I forgot to remind people to come to rehearsal, and then, we just worked with what we had. So, yeah, it was, I'm not gonna say it was chaotic, but I felt the kind of way because I was like, dang, I forgot to text everybody. And I felt bad.
Okay, so how many members do you have now?
There's, I don't know exactly the exact number, but I know our text thread has probably about 20 plus people in it.
Okay.
So and that's not even including the people who, play music and all that good stuff. Those are just singers.
Okay. All right. 22 singers, 20 something singers. Wow. That's great. So, All right. Well, maybe I shouldn't ask that question. I'm gonna move on to the next question. All right. So you got 20 plus singers, and then you have musicians.
Yes.
How do you get them to form together perfectly? I mean, or blend together well?
A lot of the musicians that play with us, like, you know, they've played with each other before. And then they've also like played behind me. You know, because I also lead worship in the area. So a lot of the musicians that play with us, they know me. They know like my style, and you know, they know how I flow and stuff like that. So it's really easy. And then when you got people, I'm gonna be honest, like a lot of times when we do these things, like, yeah, it's worship, but we're having a really good time.
I would imagine.
So yeah, and it's just a cool way to have some fun, and you know, everybody just I allow people to just, you know, in a very structured way. I allow people to just, you know, explore their creativity and, like, you know, put a lot of them in what we're doing. So yeah, it's a pretty cool vibe though, to be honest with you.
Okay, and these your members come from different areas of Raleigh. Is that right?
We have people from Raleigh. We have people from Fayetteville. We have people from Lillington. We have people from Cary. I mean, there's even a couple people from that has came from Greensboro. One person's in I think Goldsboro.
Oh wow.
Yeah. A lot of these cities, I really don't know. I've never been there, so yeah. But I think there's somebody from Goldsboro, and then Durham, of course. There's one place called Four Oaks. I've never heard of this place.
I don't think I've heard of Four Oaks either.
Four Oaks, I think they're from. So yeah, it's a lot of cities that we have. Like, we have a ton of people, like, and they're scattered abroad from all kinds of places. We got people from Bisco, you know, Carthage, you know, just some people from back home come and, you know, and do some of this stuff with me.
And
so
how long does it take you to rehearse? I mean, with that many people.
So everybody doesn't show up at every event, and everybody doesn't show up at one time. I think the last rehearsal that we did, you know, I normally try to just keep it really simple, like an hour and a half or maybe 2 hours to rehearse. Because a lot of songs, you know, we know well. So it really doesn't take much to go over those songs. But the ones that we need to work on a little bit, you know, yeah, we try to at least have a really good an hour and a half to 2 hour rehearsal.
Okay. Are you still conducting like auditions to be in the group?
At this moment, we have like a lot of singers, and it's really hard to, like, you know, navigate with the singers that we have. So like, as far as main singers, you know, we're kind of like at a you know, like, pause for a moment. But you know, as far as like people who like will love to be in the choir, of course, come on. You know, we will love to have you be a part of the choir, you know, just be a part of our events, and, you know, teach you some of the songs that we've been writing and all that good stuff. So yes, you know, if you want to be in the choir and you listen to this, and you know, just hit us up on Instagram or on our through our email. We would love to chat with you and maybe get to know you a little bit better and invite you to some of the things so you can be a part. So
sounds good. Does Triangle City Worship cover other songs as well as do original music?
Yes.
Okay.
So here lately, a lot of the stuff we've been doing have been covers, but we're starting to transition from doing covers to doing you know, our own stuff. Because like I said, we did a writing camp in February. The beginning of February, we did a writing camp in February, and we wrote about 8 good songs, and I mean all. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a part. No, these songs are great, like great. If you look at on our social media, like, you'll see a lot of videos of one song that we've kind of giving people like a sneak peek on. It's called "You Remember Me." So, you know, if you go on our Instagram at Triangle City Worship, you'll see some of that stuff. Definitely go check it out. Give us a follow, and let us know how much you like the song, because that's one of the first songs we're going to put out.
Okay, tell us what are Triangle City Nights? What are those?
So Triangle City Nights I wanted to have like a uniform of like of worship nights. like I didn't want to just call them just a worship night. So we're Triangle City Worship. So I wanted to brand our worship nights as something that we can call it. We can call it something that we can call it consistently. So Triangle City Nights is basically like if we're doing a worship night that is put on by Triangle City Worship, and you'll know that it's something that we're doing because it's called Triangle City Nights. For example, when Elevation Worship, when they do their tours, they call them Elevation Nights. Some churches, I think one of the churches I've went to, I think they call their worship nights like Encounter Nights or River Nights. So I just wanted to have something that kind of stuck, and it can be consistently put up on flyers and stuff like that. So that's what Triangle City Nights are.
Okay. Now tell me your team's reaction once you're on the stage and the audience is looking back at you, waiting for you to perform, or give us the emotion from the team when you're about to perform.
Well, first I wouldn't say it's a performance or anything like that.
Okay.
Like we don't, we try to stay away from performing, but everybody knows that as soon as we're starting, like we're about to have a good time. We always start with a really nice upbeat song, to kind of invite the people to worship and to get I ain't gonna say get the people, I will say get the people jumping. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
We'll start with an upbeat song, and we'll kind of go from there. But like everybody knows, like, hey, this is it. So I'm pretty sure some people are nervous. That's a normal reaction. But as far as like the reaction, everybody's like, yeah, let's go. We're ready. We're pumped. Let's do this. Let's worship our Savior. So,
when you are asked to perform at a church or at a venue, do you guys like travel together on a bus, or do you just meet up at the location?
All of this stuff have been pretty local. To where we just drive there.
Okay.
But if it was something like a long distance trip, I would love to get a van, and have everybody on one van. I think that'd be a fun trip, especially since a lot of us are crazy. So we got a lot of characters in our group. So I think that'd be a really fun trip. If we have to go somewhere long distance, but we haven't done it yet, so it's coming though.
Okay. Gospel music's great Pastor Donnie McClurkin recently called out the gospel industry for mixing secular and gospel at an award show or at award shows. I don't know if you've seen that clip where he's being interviewed and he's discussing that. Have you seen that, Chris?
I have not seen that, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've not
All right.
seen that.
If you get a moment, go back and look at it. But I guess my question is, how far is too far? We know he's an older gentleman. He's produced a lot of great music. He's also a pastor.
Yeah.
And he has said that after these gospel award shows, at the end of the evening, the after, I'm not going to call them parties, the after events or whatever, are usually consumed with alcohol and things of that nature, secular music and all that. And he feels like there shouldn't be a mixing or twixing of the two. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll just say this. Everybody of course is entitled to their, own feelings and stuff like that. I agree, to an extent. It just depends on, who you are, as a person, because if we're being completely honest, like a lot of the places where Jesus was going in the Bible, the Pharisees or the Pharisees said that Jesus shouldn't go. But if Jesus didn't go where he was going, he wouldn't have made an impact. So it really just depends on your motives, and what you're doing. Like if you're going in these spaces and you're not being the light, then then yeah, you probably shouldn't be there. But if your light is shining brighter than, what's going on in your area, and you're witnessing and you're talking to people and people are wondering like, okay, what's different about this guy? Let me go talk to him real quick to see what he got going on. And then next thing you know, they're, pouring their, their heart to you, or they're talking about their life struggles, and there you have an opportunity to pray for someone. So, I think, I think that when it comes to stuff like that, as a pastor, he has that right. But as people, I think, we just need to like work out our own salvation, like, instead of pointing fingers to what everybody else is doing, because you never know what God has people doing. You never know who God has. You never know what assignment God has placed on someone to go reach out to someone else. Now, me personally, I'm not going to be in those spaces. I never was a person to, be in clubs and stuff like that. Like, I tried it, but it just wasn't for me. And I'm not trying to be like high and mighty, like, it is what it is. But I've never like, that's never been my scene. But, I have some people in my family that I hang around that are not Christians, or that I go fellowship with that are not, Christians. But I'm not just gonna not gonna hang out because it's my family, their blood, and I love them dearly. So
yes,
I just think people, work out your own salvation.
Work out your own salvation. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Chat City with P. Ross. I'm your host, P. Ross. I have with me Chris Graham, a independent artist here in Raleigh, North Carolina. He's also an award-winning artist, and we're discussing his group, Triangle City Worship. Chris, tell us more about you've collaborated with several people. Who would you like to see Triangle City Worship collaborate
Ty
with?
Tribbett.
Ty Tribbett. Mr. Tribbett, if you're listening.
Yes, Ty Tribbett.
Okay, and why Ty Tribbett?
That's my guy, man. Like, I love everything this man does. Like, I've been a huge fan of Ty since he came on the scene. And I would love, just because I was at his concert a few weeks back. And that man, he has an amazing ability of, one, gathering people, and then two, reading. He knows how to read a room, and then three, like, he knows how to set an atmosphere, and one thing I love about Ty is that when he does like a set or something like that, like, he always includes something that I've never heard before. And I always look for that when I go see Ty, and I think, Ty's creativity is out of this world. So, I would love for Triangle City Worship or even Chris Graham to, collab with Ty, because I think it'd be an amazing experience. That dude is super dope. And I literally have nothing negative to say about that man, because he is popping.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Okay, now you've written another song. You got a new single out.
Not out. It's coming out. It's coming out.
So are we the first to play it?
You are the first to play this song.
All right here on Oak 93.5.
Yeah.
Chat City with P. Ross. We are the first to play Chris Graham's new song called "Don't Wait." Tell us about it, Chris, before we play it.
So, "Don't Wait." I wanted to create something that was very vibey, a little different than what I've been putting out, but something that was very vibey, but it also has an important message. And this message is basically, the song obviously is called "Don't Wait." So I'm pretty sure you're assuming, okay, he's talking about don't wait till it's too late. Yes, the song is saying don't wait till it's too late. So, the Bible says, the day you hear my voice, harden not your heart. So, I kind of use that scripture as a metaphor. And I think there's some moments in the song where it says, won't you pick up when he call you, to kind of go on with the day you hear my voice, harden not your heart. So I kind of made it like a modern thing to where, when you get a phone call and you have the option to decline that phone call. Yeah. When you see God on that ringer, like, don't hang up, like, pick up the phone, listen to what he got to say. So that's pretty much what Don't Wait is. It's coming out on June the 2nd. But you guys today have, the first listen to on the radio. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that.
All right. Don't Wait by Chris Graham.
Chris Graham, stuck in a cycle, same old ways, doing the same old things. When you gonna change still? Stuck in a cycle. You think that you are perfect. You don't pray until you're hurting. When you gonna change? Tell me what you're waiting for. Tell me what you're waiting for. Waiting for. He's calling, won't you pick up? He's calling, won't you pick up? Don't wait till it's late. Don't wait too late. Time is of the essence. Don't make that mistake. Don't wait till it's late. Don't wait too late. While you're still breathing, just get it right today. Yeah. Tell me what you're waiting for. What you waiting for? He's calling, won't you pick up? He's calling, won't you pick up? Yeah. Tell me what you're waiting for. What you waiting for? He's calling, won't you pick up? He's calling, won't you pick up? Yeah. You didn't think this would happen. How did you end up this way? Yeah. Let's have a moment of truth. Right now it's up to you. Avoiding things won't make it better. Avoiding things won't make it better. Tell me what you're waiting for. What you waiting for? Tell me what you're waiting for. What you waiting for? Tell me what you're waiting for. What you waiting for? He's calling, won't you pick up? He's calling, won't you pick up? Don't wait till it's late. Don't wait too late. Time is of the essence. Don't make that mistake. Don't wait till it's late. Don't wait too late. While you're still breathing, just get it right today. Yeah. Won't you pick up when he calls you? Won't you pick up when he calls you? What you waiting for? Won't you pick up when he calls you? Won't you pick up when he calls you? What you waiting for? Tell me what you're waiting for.
Man, I love that one.
Yeah.
Don't Wait by Chris Graham. You heard it first here on Oak 93.5 FM by Mr. Chris Graham. Man, you put some thought into that. I love the message. I love everything about that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it comes out when?
It comes out June the 2nd.
June
I think.
the 2nd.
Is that a Friday?
You know what? I believe it is.
Yeah, Friday, June 2nd.
Or maybe a Thursday. I don't know. Anyway.
Well, it comes out
we'll
Thursday night anyway, so.
Yeah. All right. I love it, man. That's great. Okay, so what is it that you would like people to know about Triangle City Worship?
I would love for people to know that, we have an Instagram and we have a Facebook and we have a TikTok. Y'all just follow us to see, what we got going on. We got a lot of cool stuff. We actually uploaded some new merchandise a couple days ago. Got some new stuff on our website, so check out our website, check our stuff out, see what you like, maybe grab a few things. We got a worship night coming up on June the 4th. We will love to have y'all there. It's actually, if I may say, it's actually going to be a clothing drive. We're partnering with the Salvation Army. One of the ladies is at my church. They said they're going through a shortage, and it just I've really felt led to do something about that. So we're gonna do a clothing drive on that worship night. So if y'all are listening, y'all want to be a part, even if you want to just drop some clothes off, we're gonna be at the White Space in Raleigh on June the 4th at 6 p.m. collecting clothes and worshiping God. So y'all pull up, bring in some clothes.
That's an awesome move that you guys are doing to help those in need. All right, Chris, how do you perceive yourself?
I mean, I see myself as a visionary, a person that has a lot of drive, and I have a lot of energy. I'm a very energetic person, and I try to in everything that I do, I try to portray that energy because that's kind of like my staple, or that's my brand. And it's cool to hear like a lot of people without me even saying that to people. Like, it's cool to hear people say that, hey Chris, you're just a ball of energy. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. So, that's how I perceive myself. And I'm just grateful that, God gives me the opportunity to be a ball of energy for him.
Mm-hmm. And a fine young man you are, and you are doing well. I do believe in the eyesight of God with all that you're doing. All right, Chris, we are getting close to the close of our show. If you were standing before your group, Triangle City Worship, right now, what is something that you would like to, or something you would say to them that you haven't said before?
In the words of TD Jakes, get ready, get ready, get ready. I'm just playing. Yeah, I mean, I would just tell, some of the people, I mean, I think I've already told people like that I'm proud of them. Thank you. But I'll say it again publicly because, you can never have too much gratitude. So, for those who are a part, if you watching, on my live, or you watching, you listen on 93.5 FM, if you're part of Triangle City Worship, thank y'all for literally making my dreams come true. And this is your dream just as much as it's my dream. And I can't wait to see, what God does for this. So, yeah.
Okay, and tell us how we can find Triangle City Worship again.
So you can find us on all social media platforms. Well, I'll take it back. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Triangle City Worship. And then you can find us on Twitter and YouTube at Tri-City Worship, I believe. I might got that wrong, but just go to Instagram. It'll have all our links there.
All right. Chris, I want to thank you for coming back today. Thank you
for
allowing us at Oak 93.5 to share your song here on Chat City with P. Ross for the very first time for the world to hear. I look forward to seeing great things, more great things.
Yes.
From Triangle City Worship. And we look forward to having you back on the show.
Yeah, we'll be back.
Okay.
With more people this next time.
All right. That's it for Chat City with P. Ross this day. Join us again next week, Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Enjoy the rest of the week and be safe.
Community Radio, WRLYLP.